All right, hello everyone, and welcome back. This is Tony from Informed Citizen Reporting. Today is November the 2nd, 2019, and today I have an excellent article I wanted to go over from Congressman Andy Biggs, who is Arizona's 5th Congressional District Representative. He wrote an article about the impeachment inquiry. So we're going to go over that, and hopefully I can give some fresh insight and my 2 cents, if anyone cares. Which maybe somebody does, maybe not. Let me know in the comments what you think. So, first off, it says op-ed. Opinion, what does op-ed stand for? I don't know. It's an opinion piece. That's fine. I should probably look that up. I'll look that up later. So, op-ed. Impeachment inquiry is just more Democrat-led obstruction of President Donald Trump. Okay, that's a good title. This is from September 26th, 2019 in the news. Andy Biggs, opinion contributor. Okay. Impeachment inquiry is just more Democratic-led obstruction of President Donald Trump. Democrats are looking for a new impeachment angle after the Russian collusion hoax failed miserably after a 2-year investigation. Last week, we learned via a government leak that a whistleblower complaint was filed claiming nefarious action by President Donald Trump during a foreign communication. This week, the transcript of the call was released. This is obviously in September, so what do we know so far? First, President Trump was forthright from the start. There were conversations with the Ukrainian president. Second, even CNN reported that the whistleblower didn't have direct knowledge of the communication. Third, there was no evidence of quid pro quo. And Ukrainian's foreign minister has said there was no pressure from President Trump on that call. Okay, cool. Case closed. Open and shut case, right? I mean, let's think about this, right? Let's say someone accuses you of robbing their house, right? And you're like, okay, I never robbed anybody, much less your house, right? And no. Let me give a better example. Let's say somebody on the street said, "Oh, I see that person robbing the house." They call the cops and say, "Oh, this person went in that house illegally. They're robbing it." And the cops show up. They go into the house and they ask the owner, "Hey, are they robbing you?" The owner said, "No." And they ask you, "Are you robbing the place?" You say, "No." So it's like, but it's even worse. It's like somebody heard someone say that someone was robbing the place, and then they call the cops. So it's like a secondhand account of a robbery that never happened, right? So I think that's a pretty good example. It's just secondhand knowledge of something that never happened, right? So it's like hearsay. Using hearsay to open an impeachment inquiry is, you could say, problematic or extremely unconstitutional against every single standard of ethics in the entire Department of Justice. I mean, it's actually pretty insane, if you ask me, but that's Democrats for you, huh? So, let's continue. So Democrats irrationally responded to the fact or lack thereof by immediately calling for impeachment even before the release of the transcript. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi stated the Trump administration may be entering a grave new chapter of lawlessness, which would take us into a whole new stage of the investigation. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff said that we very well may have crossed the Rubicon here. Okay, whatever that means. They also intend to distract from the scandals that have plagued the Democratic Party and U.S. intelligence community for the past 2 years. So I'm just going to say this. So Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff are doing this whole thing to avoid any prosecution or potential prosecution, right? So, yes, we'll talk about that later. So, here's some of the scandals from the Democratic Party. The Department of Justice Inspector General is preparing to release his report on Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act abuses, FISA abuses. Regardless of the existence of indictments, the intelligence community has not recovered from its involvement in weaponizing America's secret court apparatus to infiltrate a presidential campaign. That's right. So the FISA courts and FISA system was used to spy on a presidential candidate. So who wouldn't want that power, right? To spy on your opponent. Let's say you're running against somebody, you want to hear every conversation they have, every person they talk to, everything they do, right? That way you can counter it, right? Not that Hillary Clinton would ever cheat, lie, and steal. No, she's an honest woman. She's a hard-working woman, right? You can't talk bad about Hillary Rodham Clinton. She is honest politician. That's funny. No, she's the most corrupt, evil politician that ever existed in the history of the world. Maybe. She is definitely the most corrupt politician in American politics. Hillary Rodham Clinton is pure evil. But that's, this doesn't have to do directly with Hillary Clinton, but it's indirectly her. It's all her little orchestrated plots, She has all these plots going on. And she's just hoping to stay out of prison at this point. Through continuous, repeated false accusations, false investigations, fake whistleblowers, by any means necessary, right? Stay out of prison, keep accusing, projecting, and committing crimes. That way no one can ever catch up to your crimes that you commit, right? It's the ultimate, I guess that's how lawyers get out of going to prison, right? They just commit so many crimes that they can plead it all down to a fine and say, oh, I'll pay the fine. I want to go to prison. Okay, cool. All right, anyway, former Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton has been blaming everyone for her election loss to Donald Trump. Yet, at the center of her loss was her email service scandal and the alleged wrongdoings by the Clinton Foundation. That's right. So Hillary Clinton is at the center of all this. Now, all this stuff going around her is just, it's like cannon fodder. It's just distractions. All of it's distractions, misdirections, projection, and, like I said, by any means necessary, stay out of prison. That's what she wants. She's made so much money, she sees she's above the law. But she's not, of course, she's not. But anyone who investigates Hillary Clinton either dies or, gives her a slap on the wrist. That's how it works, right? So anyone that has dirt on Hillary Clinton is probably 6 feet under already or is in politics. All right, here we go. It's kind of like mutually assured destruction, right? So if you have dirt on Hillary Clinton, she has dirt on you. No one really says anything, and you get along with your day, right? So that's how blackmail and dirt works, right? If you have dirt on someone, they have dirt on you. You both can benefit by not telling each other, right? It's like, it's like the thief's code or honor amongst thieves, blah blah blah. Honor amongst can't even honor amongst politicians, honor amongst lawyers, the great bar, the bar association, where it's like lawyers can't go after other lawyers, and prosecutors and defense attorneys, they all like they're buddies, and all the judges are like the puppet masters. That's for a different day. All right, here we go. President Barack Obama told Russian President Dmitry Medvedev he'd have more flexibility at the re-election to work with Russia. His administration was responsible for doing nothing to address warnings about Russian interference in the 2016 election. Yeah, President Obama was president during the 2016 elections. I mean, he could have put the axe on it, stopped it. All right, here. The American people are tired and disgusted by the Democrat-led obstruction of President Trump. Yes, people are tired of it. How did I say that? In doing so, Democrats have compromised national security, relationships with foreign governments, and the integrity of future elections. That's right. If you spy on me, I'm gonna spy on you, right? That's how it works, right? It's like if you abuse power when you have power, once you lose that power, someone else can abuse the power the same way, right? It's setting a precedent of abuse of power, right? Just like the law. If you don't prosecute someone for doing something, then it's not really a law, right? It's like the Logan Act, right? I know I'm rambling, but it's kind of what I do, I guess. The Logan Act says if you go overseas to influence American foreign relations or American politics, or push the agenda, your agenda, or American agenda, right? Basically undermining American foreign policy, then you can be prosecuted for it. But no one ever gets prosecuted for Logan Act. So there's no real Logan Act, right? That's the thing. If no one gets prosecuted for a crime when they commit a crime, right? Then the law that, I guess prosecutes that crime doesn't really exist, right? It's just in words only or in paper only. Like you have practice and you have theories of practice, right? Like if something's written, like a rule or a regulation or law, but nobody enforces it, then it's not really a rule or regulation or law. It's just a piece of paper. You can shred it. That's it. That's all that matters, right? If no one enforces something, then that law doesn't exist. That's the key to remember, right? If no one stops presidential elections from being meddled with and interfered with by the opposite party, then every opposition party will do it, right? That's the whole premise of this. The latest rush of judgment over President Trump's interactions with Ukraine's president is a sad reminder of the Democrats' continued political animus toward President Trump. Boom. That's it. That's all you need to know. Democrats are obstructing any investigation into them by investigating everyone else, right? They're continuously and repeatedly projecting and investigating everyone else to avoid any actual indictments on themselves, right? So it's like this, right? This is how it works. It's very simple. If they see an indictment or prosecution coming for one of their own, the Democrats rally around and say, hey, you can't indict us because we're going to indict you. And you say, hey, what are you going to indict me for? I didn't do anything. That's what President Trump's saying. He's like, I didn't do anything. What are you going to indict me for? They're like, you colluded with the Russians. And he's like, I didn't collude with the Russians. They're like, no, you colluded. See, we have all this evidence. It's like, where's the evidence? Oh, we can't show you. We just have evidence. We have all these things that say you colluded with Russia. We said it, therefore it must be true. So then they create this Russian, it's like a Russian smokescreen, right? There's no actual fire. There's no actual crime. There's no collusion. But the Democrats repeat it. They get the media to repeat it. They get all their buddies to repeat it. And then they get a special counsel. I know it's more complicated, but it's just that simple, right? In order for the Democrats to say, "Oh, we didn't interfere with the election. We saw that you were colluding with the Russians, therefore we had to spy on you." That's what the Democrats are saying to President Trump in his campaign. They're like, "You colluded with the Russians. We had to spy on you." They're justifying their crimes by throwing false accusations, right? Now with the Ukrainian whistleblower thing, Ukrainian quid pro quo, whatever, they're saying, hey, you committed quid pro quo, whatever. Therefore, we can spy on the President of the United States because we think he's committing crimes. But that's not how it works. You have to have evidence of a crime first, and then you investigate. You don't say, hey, we think you committed a crime, therefore we're going to spy on you and find a crime, right? That's called parallel construction, meaning finding a crime and then constructing other evidence, right? Like creating evidence, right? Like planting a weapon, saying, hey, this guy's a criminal because he has a weapon. And then, well, it's not quite like that. It's a little bit different in that if there's no crime, the Democrats must create the benefit of a doubt that there was a crime committed, right? Democrats must rally all of their support, all of their political capital, put it behind an idea, and then distract from their own crimes and their own wrongdoings, right? So it's extremely devious and mischievous, and it's just actually pure corruption, right? It's like, hey, we committed all these crimes, we have to work together. The Democrats have to all work together to keep themselves from going to prison or getting, impeached themselves or thrown out of office themselves. Adam Schiff obviously is up to his eyeballs in corruption and bad deals or backroom deals, right? Adam Schiff has a lot to hide, right? Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, I mean, come on. Two of the most corrupt politicians in the House of Representatives, so, or in the Congress, right? So it's not just them, right? You have this. It's like, show me an honest Democrat, now I'll show you a crime, right? Show me a Democrat, and I'll show you the crime, but also I'll show you that they never got actually processed or charged with any crimes, right? So there's Democrats are perfect at, especially Hillary Rodham Clinton is perfect at projecting, right? She projects. So you say, hey, you committed a crime, you had top secret emails. Oh, I didn't have top secret emails. Prove it, What's the top secret emails? I didn't have any. I didn't know they were top secret. She does the plausible deniability perfectly. Hillary Clinton has the ability to forget things on cue, right? Like, oh, I don't remember that. She has selective amnesia. So Hillary Clinton, anytime she's asked a question that might be incriminating, she just says, I don't remember. It's like, where's the evidence of that? She's perfect at it. Perfect. But it's not just her, obviously. Many Democrats do that, but many criminals do that, right? It's like they didn't do anything, right? It's like, I didn't do it. I didn't commit a crime. It's like, prove it, right? So the problem is the Democrats will never go down without a fight, right? Adam Schiff will never give up his seat of power, ever. You will have to drag him out of his seat and strip away his power by force. He will never do it. Adam Schiff will never get out of his seat on the Intelligence Committee, ever. He is one of the most powerful people in the government. Why would Adam Schiff give up his power? He has to be censored and then impeached and then kicked out of Congress. Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, they should be kicked out for this whole stunt. They should resign, but they will never resign, so they have to be kicked out. They have to be recalled, kicked out, whatever. Whatever the process is to kick them out of Congress, that's what has to happen, because they will continuously hide their corruption if they have any power at all, right? It's like the people writing the laws are breaking the laws, and anytime they might get indicted or prosecuted, they create a law or create a smokescreen, and then they hide behind it, right? Hide behind government bureaucracy when it suits them, and then use government bureaucracy to give themselves more power and take down their political enemies, right? Of course, there's more to it, right? Obviously, there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't see. But I think this short article encapsulates a lot of this, just the simpleness of it, right? The simple idea that you could prosecute someone or project a crime onto someone that you're obviously committing, right? And it takes all the attention off of the Democrats for the time being, right? Until the indictments come in and they're like, oh, you're obstructing justice. Democrats will scream obstruction when they're the ones being prosecuted, right? This is what the whole impeachment thing is about. They want to have this plausible deniability to say, oh, you're going after your political opponent because they're going after you. It's like, they're so corrupt they can never accept responsibility for their actions. The Democrats are so corrupt. They will never accept that they committed crimes. They're corrupt, power-hungry, evil people. They will never accept it. They will never accept responsibility, so you must deal out justice equally. These Democrats must be held accountable, or we will not have a rule of law in the United States of America ever again. If the Democrats get away with this, we will never have a rule of law, and we will become a failed country because of the Democrats. Democrats will take the country down with them before they give up power willfully, right? So you must force them out. There's no question, right? It cannot be, will you resign? Will you do the honorable thing, Adam Schiff? Will you do the honorable thing, Nancy Pelosi? Will you resign because you've committed so many crimes and corruption? They will never resign, though, ever. Ever. I'm telling you, they would never resign. So, remove them from office, censor them, impeach them, whatever. They must be gone. They will obstruct any investigation into them. They will do anything in their power to prevent themselves from going to prison, obviously. And they will lie, cheat, and steal, just like any criminal. They're just common criminals that have somehow gotten in a massive amount of power in the United States government. And they should be held into account. So that's my 2 cents. And I hope that people enjoy my 2 cents and my rambling style, but I will become more articulate and more organized later. But when I see it in an article or an idea, I try to inject my own opinions, or I guess project my own opinions with it, right? So I read, mix it with my own ideas, and then I create these videos. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you have anything to add. And you guys have a wonderful weekend, have a wonderful night, and I will see you again soon. Thank you very much.